Namaste and welcome to Satsang. So the main focus of Satsang is always to firstly come to a direct experience of what you really are, and then to come to live as that, to undo the assumptions of our mind that are seemingly blocking that natural state, that effortless state. And in these Monday Satsangs, I've been reading from my own books and then taking some questions. And today I'm going to read from the Hamilton Gita, which is the word Gita, if you're not sure, just means, well, it literally translates to song, which is there's a natural joy that arises from the awakened state, a natural peace and love, and sometimes that builds into such intensity that it can be impossible not to express it in some way, or challenging at least not to express it in some way. And certain beings throughout history have written their own Gita, and this one is it took me 2 years to write this, because it was just every time it came forth, I just found myself writing it down. And it's probably the most challenging book to read as well, because one of the fastest ways into that absolutely beautiful absolute space of our being is through beauty. And whenever we're in appreciation of something, or in wonder or in awe, we'll be experiencing the natural state. And sometimes certain writings, certain works of art, certainly pieces of music, sunsets and horizons and all kinds of natural phenomena can take you into, there's nothing your mind can say about them, because they're so beautiful. And so it takes you into that stillness and that silence. And that's the purpose of such a book. So as I'm reading it, it's not really about understanding it. It's not so much about getting factual information, but just allowing the words to take you to a place that you may not have discovered before, inside your own heart. So when I'm saying the word I'm really talking about you. And so just allow yourself to listen and be transported into a higher state, and enjoy what's written here. If there are any questions about it or anything afterwards, I'll open it up for questions. I'm not sure if I'm going to read it all. We'll see how we get on with time. So the first chapter is called My Beautiful Destruction. I have allowed myself to be deconstructed. I have been stripped bare to my core. I have untangled myself one by one from all the concepts I wore like garments. I struggled initially to reveal myself. Allowing concepts to go seemed like a huge risk. But as each one went, I felt freer, lighter, and safer. I felt encouraged and inspired to deconstruct more. Each glorious layer of identity was given begrudgingly at first, and then excitedly, and some even fell away in my peace. Over and over again, I saw this intertangled web of lies I had constructed around myself to be transparent and false. Excitement turned to bliss and sheer joy at feeling my naked beingness once again. Unencumbered by the burdens of self-definition, I let myself soar. Soon I began to search for more to discard, so absolutely smitten with the undressing of reality itself. Everywhere I looked, I saw myself protected and guarded from my imaginary fears and shadows that vanished in the light. Bliss turned to ecstasy as I stumbled around my life, begging to disrobe myself more. Sheer passion and love for my real nature inspired a closing down sale for any identity left. Deeper and deeper I dove into myself, revealing ever more subtle layers of ideas, projections, and conceptions of myself. I had lost all remembrance of who I ever thought I was, and I had lost all ability to want that back. I had lost any sense of loss and losing at all. What started as sacrifice became a beautiful unveiling of the pristine state that I am. Lost in the reveling like some intoxicated nobody, I searched for more to throw away. Long ago had I lost the ability to value anything other than my own selfish drive towards inwards and downwards, towards the core of my own reality. Finally, in one ecstatic moment of blinding revelation, I gave away the ability to give away. I lost my ability to change, to become, to compare, and to define myself. I ceased undressing and stood in front of the mirror of life. I recognized myself no matter how many concepts I wore. I saw who I was before time and change came. I saw that I was also time and change. I stood absolutely still for the first time, and yet I had always remained right here. I'm going to do my best to read this book without going into states of ecstasy. I'm not sure how successful that's going to be, but chapter 2 is A Moment and an Eon. I sit here alone, unaware of how long I have sat, completely lost in myself. I am no longer able to distinguish a moment from an eon. How many versions of me have come and gone whilst I was not looking? I am utterly gone, lost and beyond all salvation, and yet I am dimly aware of a time when salvation seemed important. Now it is an echo, a fading and fleeting insight into my many changing faces. I appear as an atom or a universe, and it moves me not. I dance endlessly as this play of light, life, creation, and destruction. So enamored am I with this never-ending parade of shapes that I lose myself in that, each shape more beautiful than before, until more and before also have become just a shape for me to play with. To some I am an idiot, a simpleton, so very gone from the world of normal and of the expected, yet I know no such thing. If I have gone, then I am glad of it, and I seek to destroy all passage back to the known. I dared to flirt with the unknown and dive perilously deep into that ocean. I saw the known to be as insubstantial as I am. I laughed deliriously at the idea that I could know something, or even that I could know nothing. Such beautiful illusion, spinning endlessly out in front of me. I see all the ways I tried to confuse myself, and then enlighten myself. Never-ending amusement is all that I amount to, a complete unfolding of joy. Swimming in bliss, I desire to play again and again. Over and over, I pretend to lose and then find myself yet again. The microcosm reflecting in the macrocosm, the microcosm appearing inside macrocosm. Is there but one playing, or are there infinite games unfolding? I am so far beyond any ability to remember the answer. So some of these, as I'm reading them, you're going to start to encounter, if you haven't already, that sometimes truth speaks in paradoxes, things that don't make any logical sense and seem to contradict themselves even in the same sentence. But there is a place already inside you that understands this, and it's not important at all for your mind to get this. There is no way that anyone's mind can get this, not even the Buddha's. So let your mind be confused, but your heart be soothed and excited by these words. a prayer to love. Let me see only myself. Let me drink so deeply from this cup of truth that only I remain afterwards. Let me embrace all that I am until everything else is gone. Let me forget me, you, this and that. Let me forget God, the world, and the self. Let me forget everything I ever became. Let me see the one in me as me. Let me see myself revealed in every atom. Let me keep nothing and yet hold everything in my embrace. Let me drown totally and be reborn as new. Wash me clean and show me wonder, delight, and joy. Leave me open, exposed, and defenseless to the love that you are. Let me lose all that never was and gain all that always is. Let me see with perfect vision. Let me hear silence always. Let me bask in peace evermore. I choose this. I am this. Let me always remember this. Let my heart be pure. Reverence to the One. Whom shall I worship now? Where shall I place my devotion? I find nothing to rest my attention on. I cannot find anyone to help me. What do I give my reverence to now? What can I see that is unholy? There is nothing for me to release, remove, or reject. What should I practice now? Where do I need to go? There is nothing that I can become. What can I possibly do now? There is nothing to be done or undone. What is the use of surrender? There is nothing left for me to give. The contemplator has vanished without a trace, and there is nothing for me to see. I have no need for goals, dreams, or a purpose. I have no need for more, less, or the same. This fire has burnt everything and left nothing untouched. What is the use in further imagination? This chapter is called Welcome Home. So as you're probably gathering, these are short pieces of writing that are meant to actually confuse your mind and take you straight into a direct experience of what you are, which is just this vast emptiness that's indescribable and filled with peace and so much more. So welcome home. Welcome home to the silence. Rest your head here, weary traveller. How far have you come without taking one single step? How long have you walked just to arrive right back home? For you see, you never left home, and all of your wanderings were simply dreamlike. Stay here with me and rest deeply. Drink deeply from this silent place until you can wander no more. Let each thought and each doubt rest here too. This silence is large enough for everything to lay down here and rest. Bathe in this silence until it has washed you clean of all imagination. Breathe in this peace until it pervades you. Dive deeply into this stillness until you forget how to leave. Rest here with me and take off your shoes. You won't need them anymore. Stay here with me and forget everything. Forget me and forget you. Silence is waiting to make you whole again. There is nowhere else that you need to go. Who are you? You created this entire universe, and yet you never did anything. You appeared as this human being, and yet you were never born. You sustain all this wonderful world, and yet you never make any effort. You are this ever-unfolding flower of manifestation, and yet you have never changed or become anything. You burn brightly as each star, and yet you never burn out. You think about yourself with every thought, and yet you are completely silent. Who are you? You disturb yourself endlessly with your imaginings, and yet you are ever peaceful. You divide yourself again and again into too many or billions, and yet you are always just one. You strive endlessly to be good enough, and yet you are always perfect. You ceaselessly explore and discover, and yet there is nothing left to see. You are always expanding infinitely, and yet you have never grown. You strive to reach home finally, and yet you are always right here. You have become this and that, and yet absolutely nothing has happened. Who are you? You are this beautiful and yet inexplicable mystery, and yet you are right here in plain sight. You seek to know everything, and yet you are all there is to know. You are the one. Look again. Look again and see if there really is a world that you are moving around in. Look again and see if there are any other beings except you. Search a little deeper and see if there is actually anything you want. Inquire more deeply and find out if you are actually suffering. Investigate fully and find out if you are missing anything at all. Look closer at reality and see what it actually is. Question again what there is actually for you to be afraid of. Recognize completely that you are already free. Question once more if you really have a mind at all. Insist on finding out what you really are. Be sure to find out if there actually are any phenomena. Insist on discovering if objects are real. Investigate completely if there is any manifestation at all. Accept no limitations on your life. Next section is called I Forgot. I forgot this and that, here and there, now and then. I forgot everything I knew. I forgot ignorance and knowledge. Waking, dreaming, and sleeping mean nothing to me. I forgot to be enlightened or unenlightened. I don't know what liberation or bondage is. I forgot how to seek, and I forgot what I found. Nothing was worth keeping, and everything was worth discarding. I forgot I was worthy or unworthy. I forgot how to give or receive. Nobody was worth remembering, and I have forgotten everyone. I forgot that I was lost and that I arrived home. I forgot how to surrender, and I found nothing at all worthy of my devotion. I forgot to be finite or infinite. I forgot about lack or abundance. I found nothing worth keeping or having. I forgot about you, and I forgot about me. I forgot about everyone. I do not know what a relationship is. I forgot the beloved and the lover. I forgot the guru and the disciple. I found nothing worth holding on to. Finally, I forgot how to remember, and I forgot how to forget. I do not know what I have forgotten. I forgot everything, and then I remembered myself. Come play with me here. I know you like to play hide and seek. I looked for you there and here. I looked for you yesterday and tomorrow. I tried to find you in the stars and the planets. I tried to discover you out there and in here. I searched for you everywhere I could think of, but I did not find you. I looked high and low, and I traveled so far to find you. You had the best hiding place ever. I looked for you in the sages and the saints. I looked for you in the beggars and the downtrodden. I looked for you in the scholars and the philosophers. Still I could not find you. I know you like to hide right in front of me. I searched for you in my dreams and in my reality, but I didn't find you. I looked for you in every experience I had, but you were not there. I tried to think where you could be. I wandered through endless beginnings and endings to find you, but still you eluded me. I looked in my past and in my future. I even searched my present moment and didn't see you. I tried to find your location, but none was found. I know you like to play hide and seek. I know you like to hide everywhere, all at once. I stopped looking for you, and I found me. When I found me, I discovered you. I saw you had been hiding as me. I saw you playing as one, two, and many. I saw you everywhere, and I saw you can never hide. What a beautiful game we played. So I'm going to skip a few chapters and see if we can get to the through this in one satsang. Okay. You are the effortless one. You are effortless, so stop trying. You are already here, so stop reaching. You're already silent, so stop making noise. You're already free, so don't reach for freedom. You are infinite abundance, so do not reach for more. You are endless peace, so stop trying to find it. You are stillness, and you don't need to move anywhere. You have already arrived, so stop trying to become. You are not existence or non-existence, so stop trying to go beyond. You were never the opposites, so don't try to put them down. You are pure, so stop trying to purify yourself. You are the timeless one, so don't reject time. You are the light, and you don't need to get rid of darkness. You are already here, so cease trying to arrive. You were never lost, and you cannot find yourself. You are always the witness, so stop trying to see. Nothing is hidden from you, so stop playing hide and seek. You never forgot anything, and you don't need to remember either. You are already everywhere, so how can you find yourself? You were never caught, so don't try to free yourself. You have never been deluded, so what use is enlightenment? You are everywhere and not somewhere. You were never somewhere in time and space. You have always been everywhere. Somewhere and someone do not apply to you. Location and existence do not apply to you. Come to see you are everywhere, and you will see that no problems can affect you. All problems are to do with being somewhere in particular. No thoughts, issues, or challenges for any particular body or mind can affect you, because they are only relevant if you are somewhere. You are formless and everywhere. Formless cannot have an edge or ending. Only forms can have an edge, size, or an ending. When you come to see that no thoughts and problems can affect you because you are everywhere, then those thoughts and problems will not affect your body or mind either. All of this duality is just as seems to be. You are indeed everywhere, but you also seem to be somewhere. Just because your body appeared. When your body appeared, you began to experience through these five senses. You began to think and remember and plan. Time began for you then. This is all just as seems to be. You are always everywhere, and you have never been somewhere. You only seem to be somewhere in particular because of sense perception, thoughts, and a sense of time and space. All these belong to the body. All these will go when the body goes. And then you will be as you always have been, absolutely everywhere. You are here, and you're not an object, so you are everywhere. Let the sense of duality play then. Let the seems to be of it all play. What is it to you? Nothing at all. What must you lose? To see me, you must lose your comings and goings. You must lose your beginnings and endings. Set aside your one, two, and manyness. To see me, it will cost you time and space. You must give up your difference and sameness. I am very expensive because I will cost you everything and nothing. To see me, you must sacrifice seeking and finding, becoming and arriving. You must also give up your allness and your nothingness. To see me, it will cost you God and Godhead, manifest and unmanifest. You must relinquish self and ego too. I will make you lose everything. To know me, you must lose your change and changelessness. I will not be found in truth or illusion either. I will cost you everything. To see me, you must let go of names, forms, and formless. I am not found in the transcendent or the immanent either. To love me, I will cost you creation and destruction. I will demand you let go of Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva too. I am not found in any of the realms or dimensions. To know me, you must lose the teacher and the student. I am not found in the sage or in the disciple. I am not found anywhere or nowhere. To see me, you must lose your duality and non-duality. I'm going to cost you distinction and non-distinction. To know me, it will cost you fear and hate. I will take from you guilt, grief, and shame too. You must give me your pride, anger, and sadness. I'll demand your ability to suffer. Give it all to me. To know me, you must lose inside and outside, self and other. I am very expensive because I will cost you self and not self too. I will cost you everything that you can think of. I am very expensive. I will take everything that you have and all that you can become. Do not be scared of me, though I will cost you everything, for I will give you so much more. Know me, and I will give you yourself. I will give you safe haven. I will give you immortality. Find me, and you will find your home and your indestructible peace. There is no need for fear, for I am already here. Come and see me and see your real face. Okay. If I could only show you you. Actually, I'm going to read this one first instead. The glory of being wrong. This is one of the biggest lessons for me. The glory of being absolutely wrong about everything I ever thought was true. And that's what really inspired. In the moment I was sitting and I was just outside the back of my house, there's some trees, my garden, some trees, and it was a windy day, quite warm, and the trees were just blowing in the breeze, and I just suddenly understood that I'd been really wrong about everything. And I'd had that thought many times, but it was a crushing defeat. But this time it was different. It was just it was the most wonderful realization of all, actually. So I've tried to describe it in this. The glory of being wrong. In the end, this is the highest attribute of all. It is the most worthy one of all who is wrong about everything. I want that one who is willing to be wrong and to see that nothing we have imagined or conceived about ourselves is true. Oh, the glory of being wrong, the joy of knowledge collapsing. The release of burdens carried is exquisite. I want that one who is ready to be totally wrong. Come and bathe in the bliss of not knowing with me. Come and sit in the unending peace with me. Feel your imagined limitations drop away as you see your true face. Yes, the glory of being wrong is the gateway to nirvana. Life's wonderful paradox is that the least sought after experience is the most valuable one of all. The ego hates being wrong, but the self longs for it. Being wrong is the highest of all. Of course, I'm not talking about you being wrong as a person, but the wrong ideas we have about ourselves, the wrong concepts we hold on to. And in the end, has to become an understanding that everything I thought about reality was wrong. Just because everyone on this entire planet is agreeing with this idea of what reality is doesn't mean it's ever been so. The ecstasy of being totally wrong about everything we imagine to be true is so total and complete that you will want to feel it again and again. May the one save me from ever being right about anything again. Come and be totally wrong with me. I welcome you into my home, but you cannot bring anything other than yourself. Truly, everything you believe has held you back. It's all imagined. All your suffering is in your dream only. Wake up by being wrong. Just be willing to be wrong. That's all I ask of you. Don't cling to any idea about yourself or me or anything at all for a moment. What if all concepts are untrue? Wouldn't you like to know? I want to pull all these ideas out of you and set you free. Each and every thought you believe is causing you pain. You are dreaming all of these limitations. You are dreaming all of these lifetimes. You are imagining all of these beings. Come play with me here. There is only one price to pay for freedom. You must be willing to be wrong about how far you have come. The one is sleeping and dreaming all these fantastic galaxies, worlds, and amazing lifetimes as a human being. You have endless and infinite dreams about characters who never really were at all. Squeeze yourself through the small hole in your dream, the urge and pure desire to be wrong. Oh, how wonderful. Be free of your own self-made prison and rejoice in your total and utter clarity. Be wrong about everything and be home instantaneously with me. I'll read probably just one more and then I'll open it up for questions. Gosh, it's hard to choose. Okay, I'll read two more. The greatest freedom of all. The greatest freedom of all is to be who you are. I want you to be who you are, not who you want yourself to be or who you think you should be. Be exactly who you are and not who you have been taught to be. The greatest freedom of all is to be exactly as you are in this moment. If you find yourself lost in thoughts in this moment, be completely lost in thoughts. If you find yourself completely aware of nothing at all, then be totally aware of that. If you are distracted by a noise, a sensation, or an ache, then be completely distracted right now. Making no effort to control or change anything at all is the greatest freedom of all. Being completely at peace with what is right now is the greatest freedom. To be totally unable to should or shouldn't about yourself or anything is the most beautiful way to be. Whatever you think you are doing is being done by your body Whatever you think you are thinking is being thought by your mind. Wherever your attention wanders is wherever your attention wanders. None of this is anything that you must or can control. The greatest freedom of all is to be exactly as you are in this moment. Just relax and don't try to control or change anything about this moment, and you will come to see that nothing needs to change after all. The only thing you shouldn't do is believe in shouldn'ts. Allow everything its authenticity in each moment and let go of holding on. Be completely accepting of how things are right now. If you feel bad, then feel bad. If you feel good, then feel good. Peace comes from acceptance and not necessarily liking what is. When you accept what is, then what will begin to please you greatly. Most of all, give yourself the total freedom to be completely unenlightened in this moment. Even if you feel you should be more awake, then give yourself permission to feel that fully. When you finally come to be exactly as you are in this moment, you will be authentically awake right now. You'll be perfect in your imperfections. You will have arrived even while still trying to get there. You will be a living example of the greatest freedom of all. So I'm just going to read one more. If anybody wants to ask a question or share anything about this, or then while I'm reading this last section, if you want to, you can raise your hand by clicking on participants at the bottom of your screen. And it's really hard to think in duality. And at the bottom of the participants section, there is, I can do this, the option to raise your hand, and it will show me that you want to ask a question. So this last one I'm going to read is, I love you too much. I love you too much to think about you. I won't sully you by assuming anything of you or about you. I won't burden you with any expectations or demands. I'd like to meet you as you are. I love you too much to separate you from me. I won't impose any distance at all upon us. I won't tolerate the distance of thoughts between us. I want to meet you exactly as you are. I love you too much to believe anything about you. I don't care to project upon you. I respect you too much to know anything about you. I won't limit you that way. I want to meet you in your authenticity. I love you too much to label you or categorize you. I will not allow thoughts to define and shape my experience with you. I prefer to meet you exactly as you are. I love you too much to ever know you or understand you. I care too deeply to have a relationship with you at all. Such distance of two is too much for me. I cannot bring myself to externalize you. I want to meet you just as you are. I love you too much to try to define you. I won't allow any restriction on you at all. I don't care to imagine how you are, and I don't want to remember you ever. I want to meet you exactly as you are. You see, I love you too much to think about you at all. I love you so much that I forgot about you, and I forgot about me. All that is left then is the pure experience of being and meeting each other exactly as we are. How amazing to meet you with no barriers at all. I hope you enjoyed that, reading that. If you have any suggestions of which book you'd like me to read next after that, then feel free to share. And if anyone would like to ask a question or share their experience, then feel free to click on participants and raise your hand. Let me know that you'd like to share or ask a question. Or else it's just going to lapse into silence, which is okay too. Okay, Caroline? There's two Carolines, so I'm not sure which one.
Hello, Helen.
Hello.
I'm not quite sure how to phrase it. But the question is about being the seeker. If I look back, and I know that you're probably going to say that it's all mind, but when I look back at how I have been the seeker all my life, everything now seemed to have made sense what happened in the past, so to speak.
Yeah.
And that there has been maybe some guidance or so to get me to this point.
Mm-hmm.
Where I am now, because I feel this is exactly where I need to be right now. And when I hear you speak, it's almost like this awareness or the true self is as elusive and tricky, a trickster as much as the mind.
Sometimes it can seem that way for certain, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Take your time, it's absolutely okay.
Because it's like if I'm meant to be come to this point, who has been the one behind the seeking then?
It's really, I found it more helpful to think that I'm just going to say how it was for me and see if that's got of some value. Rather than trying to get rid of something, I spent a lot of time and energy trying to get rid of the seeker, and then it just really didn't work. In fact, it made it worse. And I started to change how I was thinking, and then I thought, well, if I am already the self, as all the great teachers have said, could it be that I am just experiencing like the self is able to imagine it's lost, or it's able to imagine it's a human being, and it's able to imagine that it's separate from its source somehow, that somehow there's a journey to go back. And it seemed a strange way to think at first, because I thought, well, the self is perfect, and how can it ever be sort of seem lost? How can it ever feel lost? But it really came to see the mind is just what happens in a human being, the noisy mind, when the self is a little bit confused about itself. It thinks it's not the self, even though it is. And it helped me to sort of think that way, because it stopped me trying so hard to reject something, that it was just a seeing that had to happen rather than so much trying. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yes. Like I feel now that I've come to a point where things are so simple, and I'm really grateful for this lockdown, because it's been just such a blessing to just be and go deeper into this nothingness.
Yes.
And I feel even just going for a walk, there is so much there's so much richness there. There is no boredom. There is no boredom, because that moment becomes so much fuller with nothingness, so to speak. If you know, if
Absolutely.
that makes
Nothingness
sense.
is absolutely full, isn't it? It's not empty at all, like you think. Yeah.
And it all seems so. You think, geez, have I been making such a big thing about coming to this point all my life? To be in such a simple moment of that fullness.
Yeah. It was exactly like that for me. When I read that section about being wrong, you know, I've been wrong about everything, about having to even seek, and all of that. And it was so embarrassing for my ego. It was like, I've made such a drama out of this. I've tried for 25 years to find the self. And then I was like, oh my goodness. But there's such joy in that, isn't there, as well? That it's just the simplest of states, the simplest way, where there isn't anything boring or mundane. Everything you look at is yourself, the self. So everything is equally enjoyable. Whether you're taking out the rubbish or going for a walk or in satsang, it makes no difference to how you feel. And that's just wonderful. And it's really amazing that you have believed in yourself enough that you can start to experience that. That peace can be unbroken and unending.
Yeah, not quite there yet.
It's
but
a work in
happening.
progress.
Yeah.
It's already too late. From what you said, it's already too late for you now, because you said
to go back.
You said even just going for a walk, there's nothing boring, and that shows me that light is breaking right through. And that desire to feel how you feel in the simplest place, you'll want to feel it all the time. Something will be unable to accept anything else than that. I want to feel like I feel now all the time, and that will give you that capacity to let go of any remaining ideas that are dimming the light, so to speak. That there isn't anything. Doesn't matter whether I'm at work or whether I'm in the supermarket or whether I'm in all the same. It's all the one, isn't it? Appearing as all of this. So it's a work in progress, but it's already too late. I have to tell you that.
Thank you. Yeah, I just wanted to say thank you for appearing, and I wanted to say also thank you, Savitur and Fidea, for bringing me here.
It's lovely to meet you. It's wonderful beings everywhere around me, and it's nice to talk to you. And keep going. Thank you.
I will definitely. Thank you.
Lovely. Okay. Would anyone else like to ask or share before we bring it to a close? Okay, Maggie and Ian, or Maggie Orion, or and?
We're all one.
We are one.
Sorry.
Hello, it's me.
Oh, hello, you. It's me too.
You. It's a question that I kind of well, I put something in one of the groups about pain and energies and the body, that kind of stuff. And one of the questions was trying to. Oh God, my mind's gone totally blank.
Welcome to my life. Yes. It's actually quite challenging sometimes, isn't it, to remember something?
About asking about whether the body is really, if you actually have a body for the energy to go through. So I've been contemplating this, and then there's something that's quite confused, just a little bit, and I've kind of got the point where I kind of at this moment where I kind of know everything's all one, it's all the self, which is quite like, yeah, that's cool, you know, kind of thing.
It's cool, is it? It's cool.
And then there was this little kind of thing going on, but if everything is the self, and the body is the self, but it's only appearing as the self, but it's still the self. So why
It's only appearing as a body, do you mean?
Yeah. So why doesn't the body last forever if it really is the self?
Because
even though I know that I've seen bodies go, obviously, you know, I obviously know this body is going to go.
well, has it gone? Or has it lost its shape? Has something stopped holding it together? If you know, like, it may be a strange way to think about it, but everything is a manifestation of the 5 elements, isn't it? You know, and the 5 elements are the self vibrating in different ways. You know, the formlessness. And does a body ever really start? And does it ever really end? Or is it more like it's kind of assembled from elements and ingredients? It's held together by your interest in it for a certain amount of time, the appearance in that shape. And then at a certain point, it's allowed to disassemble or go back to its elemental nature. You know, because everything that has an ending has a beginning, and everything at the beginning has an ending. And if you recognize the body is, you know, that's what we're talking about when we read Reality Check. Even on a physical level, you know, what was my smoothie 2 hours ago is now my body. You know, it's constantly, all of manifestation is a constant recycling project, isn't it?
Yeah.
Can you get a sense of it?
Yeah, okay.
If I hold onto the idea very, very tightly that this is a real body, you know, even on the manifestation level, it's really organs and bone and blood and tissue, and how much of it could you take away and it's not a body anymore? You know, could you accidentally lose an arm and a leg and it wasn't a body? You know, so where is the body? It's really in here as a thought, isn't it? Even every single cell in your entire body, I think, apart from brain cells, have already been replaced many times. The whole skeleton's replaced every 8 years, I think. I may be wrong in the actual times, but
I've heard that.
Just sort of trying to, you know, I think this body has been with me for, what am I now, 45? But no, thank you. But has it really? Or is it only 8 years old, if that's the longest? You know, so it starts to break down these ideas, doesn't it?
Okay, yeah.
Does that help?
That does help. It was just a little kind of...
It's not so absolute, is it? We have this idea, my body was born on this day and this year, and it lived for so many years, and then it stopped, you know, or it will stop at some point. And that's absolute, never questioned, isn't it? It's like
really, the form is changing all the time, isn't it?
Yeah, cells are dying right now. You're losing hairs while you watch Satsang. You know, you know, where's the difference between, you're sat next to Maggie, you're breathing in, she's breathing out, you know, you're sharing oxygen and all sorts, aren't you? Where's the body really? You know, it's more of an idea than anything. And then, as we said, I think in last week's Reality Check, Satsang, that if you break it down even further, there's really nothing there at all, no thing, you know, under a really powerful microscope, which the scientists are kind of baffled by. Someone, you know, like, how is everything made of nothing? It doesn't make any sense logically.
Yeah.
So it's more like your desires that weren't fulfilled in the previous body are carried on, you know, whether those desires are to feel safe or to feel loved or to feel worthy, whatever it is, or to feel, you know, to reach enlightenment even. That's caused, for want of a better word, there isn't one in the English language, like the pure formlessness to kind of assemble itself into the shape of a body that will allow you to have the experiences you need to fulfill those desires or not, you know.
Yeah.
I've completely forgotten what you asked me. Have I answered the question?
You have. I was just kind of, I've got a lot of like patterns and karma about body and pain and energies and stuff. And I've kind of, I think I've reached this point a few times before and then kind of backed away from a little bit, but there's something wanting to kind of get through, really nail it down, if you like, to really.
It's a self-fulfilling illusion, isn't it, Maya? You know, if I think I have a body, then I'll have problems with it. I'll have issues with it. I'll fear it getting older. I'll fear it getting ill. You know, and all these things may happen to the body. You know, something could happen, but there won't be any fear around it. You know, it'll just be the natural progression of this body. Like, this body's going to continue for as long as it continues and go through whatever it goes through. But if I'm holding on tightly to the idea that I have a body, or, you know, first it's I am this body, we all believe. It's I have a body, you know, I'm experiencing through this form. Then you're opening yourself up to that whole world of illusions, aren't you? The whole world of relationships suddenly come into being because there's two bodies in relationship. And there's all kinds of fear comes into play, and a whole gamut of spiritual problems around the body. How do I transcend this idea that I am the body? Well, is that even necessary from what we've just said? Or is it easier just to see I can't have any problems with it if it's not actually there? Mind, not in there in the way, you know, we think it is. Mind will be very insistent that that isn't the right way to go about this. You know, solve the problems first, and then I'll, you know, when my body feels like the awareness, then I'll know there isn't really a body. Mind says, but it's the cost of the other way.
Yeah, quite often there's still a tendency. Well, I was going to say the tendency, if the body's feeling good, then I feel good and I feel worthy. But even that doesn't last very long, because then I start worrying how long. Oh, I can't. This body, I can't feel good this long. Something's going to go wrong, kind of thing. So there's still like a tendency to do that. And if I'm feeling a certain pain or something, then I go down the other loop of feeling unworthy. I'm not getting it. But then to counter that as well, it goes on like, I've heard so many stories about people having to experience pain before they wake up. There's part of me going, oh, well, it's quite a good thing that I'm in pain.
I must be almost there then, yeah.
I must be doing all right. So there are all these counter things going on.
Yeah.
Not quite as strong as they used to, but
so all of it. Yeah, all this hangs on this idea that this is a body. And even further back than that, even simpler, it all hangs on the idea that there are objects in reality, in the infinite being, which is everywhere and all pervading. It's permeated by all these objects, one of them being my body. You know, that's the simplest and the first of illusions, that all this is what it appears to be. That is the first illusion that we buy. And then, you know, this becomes a home for me to live in for a while, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Instead of a beautiful way that the awareness can manifest, you know, appear. That which was invisible is suddenly visible with the presence of human senses.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean it was created, i.e. born or will die. Manifest, the root of the word manifest means to make a visible, to appear, to suddenly appear. It manifested. But nothing's actually occurred. It's not actually ever been created. It's just become visible where it was invisible before. So it's very different, isn't it?
Yeah.
So when I was really trying to break this down, I kind of, it sounds crazy, but I'm going to say it anyway. I just imagined when I looked at myself in the mirror that I couldn't see anything, that it was invisible. Like, what would life be like if my body was invisible? Which it kind of is in a way, you see what I mean? What problems would remain? Like, if my body was never actually created, like if you, something can be present here right now, not visible, but you turn on an infrared light, it's suddenly visible in that light, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
So is it real or not? Now it's visible. Or are they just two different? I know it's a different way to think, but it really helps to break down this idea that I have a body.
Yeah.
Because there's immediately two there, me and my body, and they begin to suffer.
Yeah.
And mind will dream up all these ways to explain why you're suffering. I have this pain, or I have that energy that won't go through, and all of that begins to become very real.
Yeah. Yeah.
You kind of have to bypass the feeling you're a little bit insane to even ask, do I have a body, when it's sitting right there in front of you, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Lovely.
Thank you.
let me know how you get on. Yeah. It's all right to be insane.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Get used to that.
Yeah. Thank you.
Can I just?
Sure.
Just quickly. Just want to say thank you. I can barely speak, and I know that when I go downstairs, I'll remember how to walk and be.
You should try reading that book.
Yeah. Thank you for just letting me just experience it so much deeper again. I'm very emotional. So thank you.
I'm amazed I managed to read the whole thing without crying. So the joy.
Yeah.
You're very welcome. I'm glad it's been helpful. Sometimes it's just easiest to go into that place directly through any form of beauty, beautiful words, you know, sculpture or art or nature, you know, any of that will take you right in there.
Funnily enough, it was just totally perfect for me. So thank you.
I've been telling her that's a really good book.
I've read some of it.
Thank you. Lovely. Caroline? Caroline?
Hi Helen, can you hear me?
We can, yeah.
Hello everybody. Just to say that it was so powerful you reading that book. And I just want to really thank you. It just took the part that's not here. But and the postman came, and it shocked me, and I ran downstairs, and that book that you just read just arrived.
How amazing!
Just arrived, yeah, in the middle of Satsang. So that's all I want to say. Just thank you. Just every word just was fantastic. It was just so lovely. I'm just still in bliss.
I've got to try go to the supermarket after this, so that's going to be interesting. Yeah. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed it. So.
I cried all the way.
You cried all the way through, did you say?
Helen.
Did you say you cried all
the way through? But I was, yeah, but I cried all the way through, but was very, very happy.
Oh, good. Well, thank you. Glad you enjoyed. Lovely. Julie?
Sorry, I was just unmuting.
No problem.
Yeah, I just wanted to, as Caroline just said, I just wanted to thank you for your song. It's the first time I'd heard any of those words, and I'm so glad I heard it from you reading it. It's just so relevant, beautiful, practical, reassuring, it all meant something. And I was just away with the fairies listening to it.
Oh, good. That's lovely.
I just loved it. Thank you so much.
There's always a little hesitation about reading something that's going to confuse the mind, you know, that's literally full of contradictions and paradoxes. So it's lovely to hear that it was.
It didn't feel that way. I switched my mind off, and like you say,
Oh, good.
just open your heart. It
Yeah.
just sort of resonates.
Oh, beautiful.
I just, part of it, I really got. Other parts, I'm thinking, oh, got a way to go. But it was reassuring. That's the biggest thing I felt. Knowing that we already are what we are.
Yeah. There's a power in hearing that again and again, isn't there? Just a
Yeah.
absoluteness of someone who's already realized it, that there's just no doubt in their energy or their words that it's going to happen for you because you are it. And eventually that just overtakes your own doubt, doesn't it? And your own perceived limitations. And
that's it. And then what other Caroline mentioned about seeing the beauty in everything, the mundane. Me too. It's just wonderful. You only have to look out the window or look at a wall or anything, and you just see the beauty in it.
Everything is this beautiful mystery, isn't it? Wrapped up looking like a house brick or a car or, you know, a table. It's nothing is the simple mundane thing that we thought it was, and it's lovely.
And it's positives as well. I don't see negative.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't think.
Fantastic.
Anyway, I'll come off now in case I just wanted to give my thanks because I haven't used for a while.
Yeah, we haven't spoken. Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing that. That's lovely. Thank you. Last but not least is Mike.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Yep.
Hi, thanks for calling on me. Appreciate that. So yeah, I was crying too. Everybody's crying. It was like, and I realized just how difficult it was to really know and be the self from the point of view of trying to do it as the body and the ego. It was virtually impossible. I mean, I could see how now it's just virtually impossible to, and there's, because it just came with so much fear of what this body would do and being scared of that. But now, you know, realizing, just coming from the place of I am already that, and that gets stronger and stronger, the less there's fear here of what this body would do. And I guess the less the body would be doing weird things anyway. But I guess there's a little confusion about when you say, you know, follow that feeling of the expansiveness, the joy, and, you know, because this body is an addict and can get really addicted to those feelings and then get really upset when it goes away, there's some fear there. But then I guess the answer is to just, you know, take in everything. Don't be scared of anything that this body will do. Because from the point of view of the one, it's just modulations of energy, really. Is that what I'm getting? Because in the past, trying to follow the feeling would make me stop because I get scared when it would go away.
Yeah, you mean the like the joy and the things when you follow the joy.
Sure, yeah. And the bliss and the
Yeah. I actually found in my own self something quite strange, which might be in there too, that I was actually scared of joy and scared of bliss. And I have no reason why I should be scared of that. You know, scared of it being too strong, scared of it going away. And there's a recognition that actually that's just fear as well. You know, mine's projecting it about something I'm scared of. But really it was just fear that could be embraced, like you said, in that in the peace of your real being. There's nothing that you can't embrace because it seemed to be just as you said, a frequency that's moving through the body, and the body itself is a frequency. So the more these are embraced, then it's only ever our resistance that the discord between two frequencies that we've suffered from. You know, you get a sense of that I think all human beings, that we've had this conditioning somehow as well. You've got me on a rant now, sorry. That you know, it's wrong to feel joy or peace or something. There's something deep in our consciousness that it's wrong to feel that way when others are suffering, and there can be all these hidden stuff in there that you come across.
Yeah, I sense that when I feel strong feelings of joy or bliss, the body like clenches up a little, because it's just not used to feeling that much free flowing bliss, so it always clenches, and I brace a little bit for it and stuff.
You know,
and you're right, probably it's because of these thoughts I have about bliss.
what I found was the body actually was full of tension. It was just, when I was peaceful, I was noticing it more. Like I'd lived my entire life, my body had been just wound up completely tight through all this fear and guilt and shame, everything that we feel as a human being on a regular basis. That when I was noticing my real self, there'd just be this awareness that inside that expanse was this body that was just like, you know, couldn't, like all the muscles didn't know how to let go somehow.
Yeah.
And there just had to be this respect of that and allowing them to let go when they were ready, as the peace became stronger and stronger. That it's the result of all our conditioning that we're not safe, you know, which is the idea that we're going to die at some point is terrifying, and the body has lived that, the result of that belief very tangibly, or that all this is out there can harm us, you know. So that might be what you're feeling, that you're just noticing how tight your body and tense has always been. And if you just like everything else, allow your body to be exactly as it is, without needing it to relax even, then it'll start to unwind. There was like a process of a whole year where different muscle groups were just I was just felt, you know, there was tension leaving those muscle groups, like my body had to remember how to relax somehow.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that sort of rings a bell or a chord with you.
Well, I'm also realizing that the tears and the crying that I was realizing was just from the misunderstanding of what this reality was. It's like, oh my God, it never had to be like that. You know, like it never had to be like that. And these crying came out of the misunderstanding, and the body's reacting as well.
Yeah.
So
the first kind of seeing is it never really had to be this way. I was always this, and then actually it deepens into, well, it had to be this way. Everything I had to go through to wake up was all a dream, but I had to keep dreaming long enough to get really tired of it and want to come out of it, you know. So even all this stuff that we've imagined and scared ourselves with our imagination was necessary somehow and not wrong. You know, it's easy to put that into a light of going, oh, well, none of it really needed to be if we're not actually suffering. But we had to imagine we were suffering somehow to kind of have the urge to come out of that and see clearly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's as much more trusting of the process that this is going to unfold as it needs to.
Yeah.
You know, from this space.
Yeah, and eventually the realization deepens as you're experiencing that I've always been cushioned from this. It's all just been going on in my imagination, just a bad dream. Sometimes nice dream, sometimes bad dream. You know, but I haven't really been touched by any of it. Even this waking up thing is just happening in front of me, but not to me.
Yeah.
That just allows the natural outcome of that is the body will relax more, and there won't be any idea that the peace can go. You know, it's that very idea that the bliss can go that has caused it to have to go, to keep experiencing in duality. If that's seen through clearer, then it stops being experienced that way.
Okay.
Lovely. Thank Thank you for sharing that. Fantastic. Okay. So I will leave it there for today. Say thank you for being a part of this with me. It was lovely. Namaste.